Well, here in our headquarters, our facility is around 40,000 square meters, and normally in standard life, it has two axes. Well, let's say X and Z, so the flexibility is in certain way limited.
Hello and welcome to another MTD podcast. Today, bringing you this podcast from Spain. I'm actually in Burgos at Nicolas Correa's headquarters, where we've been attending an event, in fact the 75th anniversary of the company. And I'm with Javier here, who I know well, and have been, in fact, this is probably, I think, my fourth time here at the factory. Throughout today's podcast, we're going to be talking about the technology that Correa offer, and also the event, and learn a little bit more about Javier. Javier, could you introduce yourself to the podcast?
Hello, good morning. So this is Javier Garcia, and I have been working in Nicolas Correa almost for 20 years now.
You don't look old enough.
Yeah, and time is passing so quickly. And I have worked in very different areas since the moment I started here when I was finishing my master's degree in mechanical engineering. I joined Nicolas Correa as an apprentice, and since then, I have been working in the production department, then in quality control department, in the finally machine inspection. Then I was working as an application engineer, giving training to our customers about how to use the machine, making parts with our customers in different countries around the world. And then for a certain time also I joined the sales team, and I was in charge of some markets like United States or India for a couple of years. And then I understood a little bit better, how we sell these kind of complex machines and solutions. And then in a certain moment we decided to create a kind of new department and join to this new department an existing one. We had the application engineering area, which is basically formed by high-skilled application engineers providing the support to our customers in all terms, training, making parts, programming, CAM programming, CNC programming. And we hadn't, at that time, a real marketing department. So maybe it sounds strange, but we decided to create a new department, taking the application engineering department and the marketing department and merge together.
And you're now heading that up.
And then I was started to head in this new department since then.
So when you took it, I mean, again, just to set the scene for people that are listening to this, how big an organisation is Nicolas Correa? Talk about the sites that we're on here. You have two sites, I believe, don't you? How many people do you employ? How many machines do you sell from here? And what sort of machines are they for those that, again, that don't know?
Well, Nicolas Correa is a group, Correa Group. We are an industrial group, mainly based in Burgos city, in Spain, in the northern Spain. So in Burgos, let's say we have the mother company, the headquarters, and then we have three industrial subsidiaries in Burgos. One is Correa Hypatia, Correa Steelworks, and Correa Electronics. Because we are very much integrated, particularly in each of these industrial subsidiaries, we are making components or parts for the machines, and even in one of them, we are making a certain type of machines and a certain type of machine accessories.
And these are milling machines, bridge mills, gantry mills, travelling column machines. And they're not small either, are they? I mean, just to whet the appetite of people, if they do come here, your factory is phenomenal. Something else, some of the manufacturing going through there. I mean, do you make pretty much every aspect of your Correa machines here in northern Spain, or is there other parts made around the world?
Well, talking about manufacturing, all the machines we produce in Burgos, in north of Spain. And normally we work with different suppliers, mostly European suppliers, German suppliers, and Italian suppliers, Spanish suppliers. And basically the critical parts of the machines, we designed all of them and we manufacture in-house. And also we have another industrial subsidiary in China in which we don't have the majority of the percentage. We have a 45%. But that subsidiary is only producing a certain type of machines only for the Chinese local market. So for the rest of the world,
So the quality
including
control,
including China
yeah,
itself, for our current product range and top class range, everything is done in Burgos City in Spain.
yeah. And talk to us about some of the new technology. Well, let's firstly touch on the event. What have you actually been doing here? I mean, the reason we're here is obviously, as I mentioned, for the 75th anniversary. Just talk us through what people that have come here this week have seen and what you've done to celebrate. And not about last night either.
Yeah. Well, first of all, after these hard 2 years with this pandemic and now with the situation with the war and understanding that the situation is not the best, at the same time we wanted to come back a little bit to the normality and share with our customers, well, where we are today, thanks to them, where we want to be in the future and open our house and share with them everything, you know, our technology, our strategy, our thoughts, our fears, why not, and our vision of the future of this kind of sector and this kind of technology.
And what is that vision?
Well, our vision is that now the machines is becoming more and more complex, more and more automatic, more and more
It's okay, keep going. Phones go off.
let's say more and more independent. The manpower is more and more difficult to get in Europe. It's very difficult to find machinists and people like that. And also, the logistics is becoming more and more complicated. So if we put all these variables, you know, in a pot, it seems that we need to increase the technology of the machines in all aspects. The automatization, so the machines should be able to produce many parts by themselves and be remotely controlled, and all the process before the part enters in the machine should be, let's say, automatized as well. And so more automation, the machine's more independent, and also the machine's more flexible. I mean flexible because to avoid the logistics and to move the parts from one machining center or one machine to another, the machines should be able to perform many different kind of operations, and, you know, milling, turning, grinding, inspection, and more functions.
How big is your factory here that you have here that we've been walking around?
Well, here in our headquarters, our facility is around 40,000 square meters.
Okay. The reason I touch on that is because it's really, really impressive out there, as I said, and the points you make about automating processes and kind of one setup is really what I see you're demonstrating out here. Some of your head technology is allowing you to hit more than one face, which is important. And now you talk about turning and grinding all in on one machine as well. I think it's even more important when you look at some of the sizes of the parts that people make on your machines, because moving a small part around a machine shop can be quite easy, taking it off a lathe, putting it onto a milling machine or whatever it might be. But some of these you don't want to be craning parts from one machine to another. So it's even more, I think, important to have this sort of one-hit process. That must be a big factor, isn't it? People don't want to be lugging big components around machine shops. Yeah,
absolutely. And not only the internal logistics. I mean, not only when you need to move a 20-ton part or a 10-ton part inside your factory, but imagine that you can make the milling and the grinding, or you can make the milling and the turning but not the grinding, and then you need to send to subcontract this operation in a different company. And then imagine to move these 20 tons part, go back and forth maybe 2 times if there is no any mistake in terms of quality. Imagine the cost of this and the risk involved.
Yeah, I mean, the grinding is quite a new technology to add onto the machines, which you've been showing here. But turning's not. You've been selling milling machines for many years, also with turning. What would be, let's say you took 100 machines that you sold, how many of those would have turning on them as well? Is it still quite a low percentage? or the turning capability?
It's still low, but it has increased significantly in the last 5 years. So let's say that 10 years back, it was very rare demand, and we started like 8 years back with our first big milling turning machine, and since then, this demand has been increasing significantly year by year. So let's say nowadays, if we talk about the offers we are making, maybe between 10 and 15% of the machines, of the offers we are making are multitasking machines.
Okay, because when you talk about turning as well larger parts, it's often better to do them on the vertical, like a vertical lathe than a horizontal, which is the advantage you've got with a mill turn machine that you're talking about as well, isn't it? You don't have to have the parts sort of hanging out of the chuck, or, you know, the gravity is working with you, isn't it, if you're turning and milling on the machines like you can?
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, to have a big lathe is very, very expensive. Lathes are very, very expensive. And normally in a standard lathe, it has 2 axes only, let's say X and Z. So the flexibility is in a certain way quite limited. In the milling machine, you always have 3 axes, and you know, Z, Y, and X. So you have a huge flexibility. And if you add to the milling machine the turning capability, then, you know, is with a very few cost. Of course, a turning plate is expensive, but with not such a big investment, you could, you know, increase dramatically the flexibility of your milling machine, making a milling turning machine. And of course, I mean, it's not a lathe, but with our technology, you can turn with a really high level of productivity.
Yeah. This week here, you've had people from India, people from the States, from Canada, haven't you? This has been a real way of getting all of your, you know, call them some distributors or people working for Correa from around the world together, hasn't it?
Of course.
And it's been interesting to meet them because, you know, they're all as impressed as I am with what they see here.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we export 93% of our production to 25 different countries all over the world. So having the opportunity to open our house, not only to our customers, but also to our dealers and our partners, is also same important.
What's your biggest market then? That's a lot of export.
Let's say the European Union.
Any particular country within that?
Well, we are selling in Italy, in Germany, in England. Well, England now is not the European Union, but I consider it as a part of that. Yeah. So England, of course, is very important to us.
What about the Middle East?
The Middle East, not so important for us nowadays. Let's say the oil and gas was important in a certain moment, not really much now, but instead, China, of course, very important, India, the States, Canada, and Europe. Even
so far as down as Australia and New Zealand, and I suppose industry there isn't the same as what it is around Europe. But
I mean, of course, sometimes we sell machines to particular countries like Australia or Argentina, but let's say our bread and butter, the markets in which we are selling continuously every month are all the main European markets like Spain, Portugal, United Kingdom, Germany, Italy, Belgium, and then of course China, United States, Canada.
And how much has the business changed in the 20 years that you've been here then? If you think of where you started and where, not just yourself, but the actual company, because there's a lot of refurbishment gone on here in the last couple of years as well, expansion of factories, new technologies.
Well, the change has been brutal. I mean, the evolution has been absolutely incredible in all aspects. I mean, in the way how we produce the machines, how we assemble the machines, in the way of the grade of technology that now we are applying in our machines, and not only talking about the mechanical systems, but talking about the software on the machines, the PLC on the machines, even the service we provide with the machines. How we approach our customers has changed completely. Now we are not selling machines, indeed. We sell solutions. We sell cutting solutions, milling, turning, and grinding solutions. So even the way we approach the customers is so different that it changed our structure completely. We have a lot of departments which are servicing the customers. It's not only to make a machine and try to sell it. No, it's just the opposite. It's to understand a need in a particular segment of the market and then trying to develop the solution for that. And a machine is a very complicated stuff, because when a customer is investing 1.5 million euros in an equipment, they are not only expecting a machine and that's it. They are expecting many things. They are expecting you to be their technological partner and to be your partner in all aspects around the machine, not only the machine, about how they use the machine, about how you service the machine, about how they develop their own technology with your technology. So it's like a marriage, a long-term marriage, and this has changed completely.
And now COVID hopefully is beyond us. People are welcome to come here from around Europe and around the world to witness here what you do, aren't they? I think now this is a really good time for you to be able to get people back in here.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've had such a successful couple of years anyway. You know, this can furthermore that, I assume.
Yeah, I think the 75th anniversary was this year, and we had the opportunity, because of the end of the pandemic, at least in Europe and in the States and in America, to celebrate this event. Because, you know, 2 years have passed, and 2 years is a long time in our sector, because the things are moving very fast. So it was fantastic to show everyone where we are, where we want to be, and what has changed.
Brilliant. I really have enjoyed not just this podcast, Javier, but yesterday, last night, today. I'm really glad to be back travelling again and coming to factories. This is where you learn. I think it's so important to walk around places like this and see how you make the machines, see all the aspects of a machine being built together. So, I really want to thank you for our invitation here. And, thank you very much for joining me on this MTD podcast. Thank you very much, Javier.
Thank you very much, Paul, and a pleasure to be with MTD people. You are fantastic, and we feel very comfortable with you. So
great stuff. Thank you very much. And there'll be loads of videos on our YouTube channel and on every social media platform that we have, and of course the MTDCNC website from our visit here to Burgos this week. That's it for another MTD podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening to the MTD podcast. If you found value in this episode, please subscribe and leave a rating and review. Find more episodes on mtdcnc.com.